In the hills of southeastern Turkey, there is a hill that shouldn't exist, not because it's tall, not because it's strange to look at from the outside, but because of what's buried beneath it. Massive stone pillars, carved with foxes, scorpions, and vultures, arranged in perfect circles, standing taller than a grown man, built by people who, according to everything we once believed about human history, should not have been capable of building anything like this at all. This place is called Göbekli Tepe, and it is older than the pyramids, older than Stonehenge, older than writing, older than the wheel. It was built roughly 11,600 years ago, before agriculture, before cities, before anyone had domesticated a single animal. For decades, archaeologists believed something simple, that farming came first, and only once humans settled down and grew food could they build temples, cities, and monuments. Göbekli Tepe broke that theory in half. In 1963, American and Turkish researchers surveyed this hill and noted some broken limestone slabs. They assumed it was just a medieval cemetery, nothing more than that, and they walked away. It sat undisturbed for 30 more years. Then in 1994, a German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt visited the site. He'd worked on similar hills before, and something about this one felt different. The slabs weren't just broken stone, they were the tops of buried pillars. He began digging, and what came out of the ground shouldn't have been possible. Not a cemetery, a complex of massive carved stone rings, built thousands of years before humans were even believed to have invented agriculture. Schmidt spent the rest of his life studying this site. He once said that Göbekli Tepe wasn't just a discovery. It was a reason to rewrite the first chapter of human history. So what exactly did they find? Massive T-shaped limestone pillars, some weighing over 10 tons, arranged in circular and oval enclosures. At the center of each ring stand two larger pillars, facing each other, like presiding figures. The stone was quarried from bedrock, roughly a quarter mile away, cut, shaped, and dragged to the site without wheels, without metal tools, and without domesticated animals to help pull the load. Carved into the pillars, foxes, boars, snakes, scorpions, vultures, and abstract symbols whose meaning nobody living today can fully explain. There are no signs of houses, no hearths for daily cooking, no evidence that people lived here permanently. This wasn't a village. It looks as closely as archaeology can determine, like a place people traveled to, a place built for gathering, and likely for ritual. Here is why this matters so much. The standard model of human history goes like this. Hunter-gatherers eventually settled down, started farming, and only after they had stable food and stable communities did they build large, complex structures, temples, monuments, cities. Civilization, in other words, was supposed to be the result of agriculture. But radiocarbon dating places Göbekli Tepe at around 9600 BCE. That's before any confirmed evidence of farming in the region. The people who built this were still hunter-gatherers, which means either the builders organized large groups of nomadic people for a shared purpose without settled agriculture to support them, or the search for an explanation of how they were fed while building this led researchers somewhere unexpected. Some archaeologists now argue it may have happened in the opposite order than we assumed, that the need to feed large groups of workers gathering at sites like this one may have driven the shift toward farming, not the other way around. In that theory, religion and ritual didn't follow civilization. They may have caused it. Raising a 10-ton stone pillar with no wheels, no metal tools, and no draft animals requires serious organization. Estimates suggest it would have taken groups of at least a few hundred people working together, moving stone, shaping it with flint tools, and hauling it into place using ropes, wooden sledges, and raw manpower. That kind of coordinated labor implies something else remarkable, some form of shared belief system, leadership, or social structure, among people who, by every other measure, were still living as scattered hunter-gatherer bands. It suggests that complex society, the ability to organize, plan, and build together at scale, may have emerged before farming, before permanent settlement, and before almost anything we consider a marker of civilization. Perhaps the strangest part of the story isn't how Göbekli Tepe was built. It's what happened to it afterward. At some point, roughly 2,000 years after construction began, the site was deliberately buried, not destroyed by natural erosion, intentionally filled in with rubble, soil, and debris, layer by layer, enclosure by enclosure. Nobody knows for certain why. Some researchers believe it may have been a ritual act, a symbolic closing of a sacred space. Others suggest it may mark a broader cultural shift, as populations in the region began transitioning toward early farming and permanent settlement. Whatever the reason, that burial is likely the only reason Göbekli Tepe survived at all, preserved under earth for 11,000 years, undisturbed, until a hillside anomaly caught one archaeologist's attention in the 1990s. Even now, decades into excavation, only a small percentage of the site has been uncovered. Geophysical surveys suggest there may be over a dozen more stone circles still buried beneath the hill, untouched. We don't know the full meaning of the carvings. We don't know exactly what rituals took place here. We don't fully know why it was built, or why, after centuries of use, it was so deliberately closed off and hidden. What we do know is this: Göbekli Tepe forced historians, archaeologists, and anthropologists to reconsider one of the most basic assumptions about how civilization began. Not that farming came first. Maybe the drive to gather, to build, and to believe in something greater came first instead. Today, Göbekli Tepe is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and excavation continues every year, slowly revealing more of what still lies beneath the surface. It stands as a quiet reminder that history is not always a straight line, and that some of humanity's biggest achievements may have started not with the invention of the plow, but with the decision to build something larger than themselves, thousands of years before anyone thought it was possible.